Hello everyone, and welcome to another Cartoon Galaxy Rants. I'm Mars Moon, and I like to rant about cartoons. So, I finally finished watching Primal Season 3. The question is, was it worth it? Well, to get into it further, let's talk a little bit about what Primal is. Fair warning, there is gonna be spoilers. So if you have not watched any of Primal, especially Primal Season 3, I would recommend watching it first before you continue with this video. So to get into Primal, it's more than what a lot of people make it out to be. I've noticed that spoofs, like one in particular I saw once on The Simpsons, was it kind of makes it out to be this show that's just about blood and gore and all that kind of stuff, which, yes, that is in the show, and it is deemed as something of a big deal, I guess, because this is a show made by Genndy Tartakovsky, who we all know has been behind a lot of more kid-friendly cartoons like Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack, and even the very famous movie Hotel Transylvania. It would only make sense that people are, kind of wowed by that factor of adult content in his cartoons. This was the case even in his more adult version of Samurai Jack, which was also very good, and I highly recommend watching it if you haven't. So yeah, Primal is kind of seen that way, but the thing is, there's way more to Primal than that. When you watch the show, I'll give you this, it's definitely very slow-paced. Not to mention that there is no dialogue. It's one of those shows where there's a lot more expressed through sounds, emotional expressions, body language, and just everything that's going on around the characters. There's perhaps one episode where there is dialogue, and I think that was in season 2, where we get a look at the main character, the Neanderthal, whose name is Spear. He's not referred to as Spear in the show, but in the details of the show, they refer to him as Spear. But he has a descendant, and there's an episode with the descendant, and there's dialogue in that episode and that episode alone. So that one really stands out. But every episode, no dialogue. There's other ones where there are characters that talk, but they also talk in another language, which there's no text or anything to tell you what they're saying. You just have to kind of understand it, again, based off of body language and facial expressions. And the reason why I find this so unique, because it takes a lot of work to really demonstrate what's going on, how the characters are feeling, all of that stuff with just motion, expression, and not through dialogue. So it's really great. And believe me, there are scenes that will make you think. There are things that will make you cry. I know there's a few times like I was getting teary-eyed at certain parts. There's some things that are absolutely horrifying and just will mess you up. Like, I think one of the big episodes has to do with zombies. Like there was this big type of dinosaur that gets like zombified, and it's horrifying. And I can't even express it in words. You just have to see it for yourself. So Primal is just way more than blood and gore. There's just so much to it. The story just is a simple story. It just circulates around, again, this kind of caveman, Neanderthal type character named Spear. He loses his family, and he stumbles upon a dinosaur named Fang, and she also loses her family. So they kind of bond from that, and they go on to these various adventures. And at a point it does escalate. Like, they actually meet this woman named Mira, who's been enslaved by this kind of like a Viking tribe, and they have to save her, and then it kind of comes into more of a broader storyline. And then season 2 ends with Spear sacrificing himself for Mira and her tribe. Eventually, him and Fang return her back to her tribe, her group, her village, her people. And he sacrifices himself. He dies at the end. So it's season 2, he dies. Mira is pregnant with his child, so it does show at the end of season 2 that in the future she, has this child. It's a girl, and and they kind of ended at that, and he's just gone. It's just Mira, Fang's 2 kids, because she eventually has kids, and Mira and Spear's child. So it's almost like a bittersweet ending. And to be honest, I thought that the show was going to end at season 2, because it just kind of felt like that was it. Once you don't have Spear, how do you go from there, unless they were going to continue the show with the daughter? But I don't know if it would have felt the same, because it was always about Spear and Fang. Well, Genndy has some surprises for us, doesn't he? Because they did have a season 3. And to be honest, season 3 does kind of give away how season 2 ends. If you do look at the promotionals, you will see Spear as a zombie. And let's be honest, the only way you could be a zombie is if you died and you come back to life, right? So, that's why they call zombies the undead. So it does kind of give away that in season 2, Spear dies. But now we know in season 3, he comes back as a undead zombie. So the whole story kind of goes around this. And I have to say, at first I was skeptical, because I'm like, I don't know how I feel about seeing one of my, the main character becoming this undead thing. Like, where are they going to go with this? But it worked out. It's interesting to see that Spear the zombie is him, but not him. It's like he has recollections of things from his living days that he visualizes, he could see in his mind, but it's just small little recollections. And one of his recollections is, of course, of Fang. So it seems as though through the season, he's trying to find Fang, and he travels, and there's all sorts of things that happen and ordeals he goes through on his own. Eventually, we do get into Mira. We return to her again and to Fang, and there's another story with that where a child gets captured, and she has to go save the child with Fang and Fang's children. And eventually that causes the Spear storyline and the Mira and Fang storyline to intertwine, and Spear meets up with Mira and Fang. Of course, Fang, I guess experiencing way back how bad zombies could be, is not too thrilled at seeing Spear because he's undead. I guess maybe it's animal instinct too. But Mira, who's always been shown as the more compassionate character, definitely tries to connect with Spear. She's not afraid of him. Everybody's afraid of Spear except for Mira. They just kind of team up. They save the kid. And then eventually, at the end, Spear gets chased away by Mira's people. They're afraid of him because he's a zombie. And he finds himself with, and I think we saw them in another season, these weird, more primate-y type of humans, and they like to have people battle in their little volcano arena, and the winner gets this sort of substance or something that makes them, kind of mutates them and makes them stronger, and Spear finds himself in that circle. He becomes one of their fighters, but the substance they give him is actually making him less undead. He's starting to turn back into his regular self. So at the very end, he does come back. And they show that same ending scene from season 2, except the ending scene where it's Mira and Fang's kids, and Mira and Spear's daughter all grown up. But where Spear wasn't there, he's now there. And that's how they end season 3. So overall, looking at season 3, was it good? Was it actually worth the watch? Well, a lot of it was very similar to the other seasons. There are very emotional moments. There are moments that really make you think. Hell, there was an episode that made me cry for a cricket. I mean, if you have an episode that makes you cry for a cricket, there's something there. That's either that or I'm just a big emotional baby. But it was actually really good. However, I am a stickler and I did have one gripe. So, at the very end of season 3, where I mentioned Spear is, he gets involved with these sort of primate humanoids who are slowly helping him come back to life, be less undead, I guess you could say. They eventually kidnap Mira, Fang, and Fang's kids. And they use that weird substance on them, and they all get mutated into like these monsters. So now Spear is faced with this situation where all his loved ones, except for the baby's fine for the time being, but all his loved ones are like these big mutated things, and they're all trying to kill each other, and he's trying to prevent them from killing each other, and it just gets kind of crazy. So, you're thinking like, oh my God, like, well, what's going to happen? Now, first off, if they were going to do this, they probably should have refrained from showing the ending that they did in season 2. Because here's the thing. It's one thing when you're watching Primal and you don't know what's going to happen. Spear frickin' died in season 2. So things can happen. And characters, especially main characters, can die. Anything is on the table in Primal. But because in season 2, they already kind of showed you everybody lives, except for Spear just in season 2. But because they show you that, you kind of already know that there's no risks, nothing on the table, because we already know that they're going to live. The main question is how. So already that kind of takes away some of the suspense. So I was a bit bummed about that. The other thing is how is Spear going to fix this? And I felt like the way it was fixed was kind of a bit lame. So it turns out that Spear finds out the lava from the volcano. If anybody gets poked by the lava just a little bit, they turn back. That, and also, I guess if there's some kind of like emotional thing they go through, like for instance, when Spear shows Mira her baby, she instantly turns back into her normal self. But for the 2 baby dinosaurs, they had to be touched by the lava. And then for Fang, the lava didn't even frickin' work on her, but just like Mira, the emotional thing did. Like Spear had to almost fall into the lava and she saved him. And then that caused her to turn back. I don't know, unless they're saying like, I don't know, boys have to be hit by lava and girls have to be swayed by emotion. Maybe that's what they were swaying, because I don't know, Fang and Mira are girls and the 2 babies were boys. So maybe that was the idea. But I just thought it was a bit like forced. It just felt like, okay, that's the resolution. That's how we fix this. Okay, love and lava. But yeah, that was my only gripe. Other than that, the season was really very good. And I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's a lot of fun. My big question now is this it? Are they just going to end it like this? Which, to be honest, at this point, I think that's it. Like, close the book, story's over. They have a happy ending. We're set. I don't know if there should be a Primal season 4. I don't even know if there is one announced, but if there isn't, good. Just end at season 3. I like the way it ended. It ended just perfect, just fine. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my take on Primal. Let me know what you guys think. If you did watch Primal, did you enjoy it? Did you have mixed feelings about some parts? I don't know. Anything like that, just share in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching and peace out. Also, just a quick note, being that I talk a lot about animation. I am also working on an animation of my own on some of my original characters, Blacktail and Mars. I'll have things posted on my channel if you're interested, and hopefully I'll have a full series up sometime soon. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.